do you make of the fight?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, and obviously we saw Joshua's sort of unstoppable rise, if you like, curtailed a couple of years ago when he fought a shorter fighter then, Andy Ruiz, and this was a different kettle of fish to the type of fighter that he's used to coming up against. Usyk is very, very technical, came all the way through the amateur ranks, came from a lower weight, dominated the cruiserweight division, and it was always going to be this kind of challenge, and it was a case of, can Joshua sort of blast his way through it? Can his sheer size, force, and power be too much to handle? And it just wasn't. And in the end, he was outfought, he was outboxed, and he did show more heart this time than he did. So certainly in the defeat against Andy Ruiz. But it opens up this sort of fascinating array of options now in the heavyweight division. Now, they're options that are going to cost Joshua a lot of money, but there's certainly some pretty tantalizing fights out there now.
The options. What are the repercussions for the heavyweight division on the back of this defeat?
Yeah, it's been a sort of big old arm wrestle the last few years as to who is the number one guy who sort of, beats the drum, if you like, for the heavyweight division. Is it Anthony Joshua, which it has been for much of that time, or is it Tyson Fury or even Deontay Wilder? And now the momentum has certainly shifted to whoever wins the Fury-Wilder fight later on this year. Joshua is no longer in control. Not only does he not have the belts, he's no longer the sort of the standout name. And if you like, Fury and Wilder, whoever wins that bout, don't need him anymore, right? They can go and fight Usyk now, get another belt under their
level alongside Fury, possibly Wilder. Usyk, you'd have to say now, has stepped right up into it, hasn't he?
Absolutely, he has. And boxing's always at its best, especially in the heavyweight division, when you have a collection, when you have four guys and they can all fight each other. We saw it with middleweights in the 1980s. And you've got this sort of, this catalogue of potential fights now. Joshua's surrendered top spot. He's still very much in the mix. He's still one of the more compelling fighters in the heavyweight division. And certainly the following he has in the UK is a significant thing when it comes to money. The Americans like putting on fights where big British audiences go across the pond, or even fight in their own backyard like he did here. I still think there's a big fight for him against Fury, but it's not going to happen next year now. It's going to happen some way down the road, as long as he doesn't slip up again. But Usyk, this guy who, I remember I interviewed him about 5 years ago, and he literally had nothing interesting to say whatsoever. He didn't want to promote himself like heavyweights love to do. He wasn't bombastic or outspoken in any way whatsoever. But here he is, right up there at the top of the tree, and he's going to make tens of millions in his next fight. That's what a big bout in the heavyweight division can do for you.